Whoa, 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 whoa. Damn right, I'm a U.P.K nigga. Straight out of one West, no contest. We the best to the niggas that's living, trying to contend with the stress. Going through the test, no access, cause you oppressed slaves. Niggas is dying off in ways. Living in dirt, now it's a grave. Niggas crosstalk through the crosswalk, or the white chalk over the bodies of roads that you paid. America's killing us, saying they fearing us, put the drugs drugs in the hood. Now my niggas delirious, put a gun in my face. All because of my race, click, boom, flash, put some Skittles and murder my ass. Like a sheep to the slaughter, heart beating harder and harder, baptized. With these words, never dipping in water, so now we pray to the Father. Give strength to the Father that's looking for the marauders. That's fucking taking our daughters, nigga. It's wartime. Lights up, nigga, showtime. Got the green light on that ass, yeah, go. Time. Either boot up, shut up, but get your ass up, cause we ain't got time to be playing this all fucked up America. Heaven for the thief, hell for the slave, reaping what you sow, meaning giving back what you gave for a clean slate. You try to imitate, you was always fake America. Every city, state, this is your fate. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America.
Someone on the timeline, giving the rhythm to expose the intricacies of these vibes. Who am I? Oh, I ain't shit, but getting lit is a pastime. So in a minute, I'ma pass out. I hope you get it. If you didn't, you can crash flying. Kinda simple if you feel it, pass your last line, but it will confuse a bad mind. A damn shame, that's the exact thing. I'll get your ass fried. Bombs from the sky, rich devil lullaby. Then the nigga fly. Hope you got an alibi. Bombs from the sky, rich devil lullaby. Gentlemen is high. See him from the parking lot. Heaven finna ball out. Devils finna fall out. All out warfare, nightmares in the big house. They murdered us for years and thinking shit wasn't gonna turn around. I never learned. This motherfucker burns down. Yelled in them streets. Hold them to breach. All of you angels bring woe to this beast. You rule for a time, but we play for keeps. I pray to my Father, bring woe to this beast. Remember them times we hung on them trees. All of you nations bow down to your knees. Remember them ships, they brought us some fleets. Fuck they Apollo, bring them the heat. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa. Whoa, to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America.
God is going to destroy this empire, man. You about to see famine in this place. You think them fires in California is bad? That's just the beginning of what the Lord is about to do. Because you been evil to the Lord's people. You've been wicked to the Most High's children, man. You've been destructive to the 12 tribes of Israel. Let me tell you something, black man. You got to put on your strength now, man. Put back on your strength and might, black man, because your day is coming. Your day is coming. because the Lord is going to bring judgment on this earth. You understand? You done found a new breed of Hebrews that stand and walk with the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And we don't care who we got to come up against. You ain't standing before this truth. You understand? We done took them all on. And gonna continue to take them all on.
Surrounded by Edomites, lost a lot of truth to this tree of life. Open up the book just to see I'm right. Reminiscing on my ancestors, on those ships who had to plead for life, took us to a place where ain't never safe there.
Check, check, check. Clap it up, clap it up. Shalom, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah Barakatah, to my brothers, Yahweh Shamar Alatah Bahashim Yahweh Shah, to all my sisters. I'm priest and officer of 1000, Bon Kayal, coming out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. And this is the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge. We're coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. If you're not in the I.S.U.P.K, under Commanding General YAHANNA, you're not in the truth. And what is the truth? The truth is that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are God's chosen people. We were the people that were selected by the hand of the Most High Power to represent him on this earth. So much so that he gave us his laws, statutes, and commandments to live by. We were given the culture of God to keep, to follow, to be obedient to. But because of our disobedience, because of our gross transgressions against the Most High Power, we went into the curses. This is the reason why I'm sitting in this classroom before you in so-called 2024. This is all, these are all ramifications, consequences of disobedience against the Most High Power. But the truth about the Bible is that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are God's chosen. And this truth is not being taught anywhere else on planet Earth. You can go to any of the big head Negro universities, any divinity school. They're not teaching that the Israelites are God's chosen people. So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's not being taught nowhere. This is the truth. And the truth about who we are has always been hidden in plain sight. This is the value of being an Israelite, is knowing, who you are, knowing your origin, knowing the origin of the so-called customs and holidays of this nation, let alone knowing the customs and traditions of our ancestors, who we actually are. The truth about who we are, and who we have been, is being suppressed within the earth, is being hidden from you. Right. This is the reason why they're doing away with critical race theory. They don't want you to learn about the 1619 Project. Right. They don't want you to know about this whole woke doctrine that's coming out of the earth, man. I was outside the library off of MacArthur Road, and I saw a brother. He had dreads in his hair, but he had fringes on the bottom of his t-shirt. And I do recognize the fact that he recognized me. I had fringes on my pants. We don't do the fringes on the bottom of the t-shirt, man. That's not a One West tradition. That's not Israelite tradition, man. To put fringes on the bottom of your t-shirt. But I do know that this truth about who we are is coming out, man. There is the scriptures talk about there being a falling away first, man. Our brothers and sisters are starting to wake up, man, and falling away from the lies of the Roman Catholic Church, man. Falling away from the lies of Christianity. which is white supremacy. The Christian doctrine as it is taught keeps you subjugated to the so-called oppressor. If you are Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, all right? What I mean by that, it keeps you underneath all the other nations, especially him. This is the reason why they paint the images of a white Messiah and they put him in a stained glass window behind or above the baptismal pool behind the pulpit. So you're looking up to some dumb pastor, and behind him is an even dumber image of Jesus Christ, man, whose real name is YAHANNA, who was a very dark-skinned Black man from the tribe of Judah, man, right. And not that image that we see, all right? But tonight is Monday night. You know, for those of y'all that didn't go and celebrate the oppressor's wicked holiday last night, you wouldn't be recovering today, spending the day recovering, praying to that porcelain God, all right? You be in class with me. As I see, who's in the class today? Salakia. Sister Bayana is in here. Sister Arabah is in here. Officer 5 Stacks, our camp leader. Officer Zion's in the class. Oh, Officer 500 Quadama's in the class. We got Trooper Warrior Allah in the class. Man, give yourselves a hand. Oh, Salakia, we got Officer Kawal, Officer of 1,000 Kawals in the building with us tonight. You know, and pray the Spirit of the Lord is in this building this evening, so we can get on with the proceedings. We're going to be talking about the pagan origins of New Year's and how it's not Israelite custom, Israelite culture, Israelite tradition to celebrate the New Year as it's celebrated throughout the earth. I got a few videos queued up. I got some articles queued up. You know how we do. You know, we don't just yap out of the side of our mouths in here. You know, you're not going to get a damn monologue. You know, you're going to get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. In the I.S.U.P.K, we're taught to break down these scriptures. Any argument that we have, we're going to present you with a concrete premise, the same way a defense attorney would, okay, in a court of law. Our position is to defend the truth, okay? Defend the truth at all costs, man, up against everything, up against your mama, up against your mama's mama, up against your father, up against your pastor, up against your teachers, your friends, everybody who professes to speak for God, but they don't speak for God, man. The priests and prophets in the I.S.U.P.K, we speak for God because we give you the Bible, man. We give you thus saith the Lord, and we do it via precepts, man. Precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. That's what you're going to get tonight, all right? And we're going to give you a lot of history, a whole hell of a lot of history from different sources, not just one source, all right? Don't be so dumb walking around in 2024 with a smartphone in your pocket. You know, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for you not to know this knowledge. And I'm sick and tired of our people, you know, continue to fall for the okie doke. At this point in time, you just don't want to know the truth. I'm convinced. At this point in time, you just hell-bent on wanting to serve yourself. You're hell-bent on wanting to hold true to those old traditions. You don't want to grow. You know everything that you want to know, and you can't learn nothing from a Negro with a beard and braids in his hair. You can't learn nothing from a Negro with gold teeth in his mouth. Anyhow, let's get into these scriptures, man. Give me Proverbs 3:31, Baba Kushah. Yeah. Matter of fact, no, go Hosea 4:6. We'll do that one first. Yeah, Hosea 4:6. We can get right with the proceedings this evening.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I also reject thee.
Was that Hosea 4:6? Go 4 and 5.
Kind of book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 5. Therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. Verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Okay, the book of Hosea says, my people. Who is that my people that's speaking right? This being spoken of right there in the book of Hosea. You got to understand this Bible was written by Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, for the Israelites. There's one river or one flow in this Bible. It don't got nothing to do with the other nations, albeit they are mentioned in this Bible. They were created by God, but they weren't chosen. And that's the difference. That's the value of being Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. So when we talk about being chosen by God, we are a possession of the Most High Power. That's why I started off with what? My people, right? We are those my people. Okay, it says my people are what?
My people. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
That's right. God's chosen people, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, are destroyed because we lack knowledge. We lack the knowledge that we get cursed when we break God's commandments, when we break God's laws, when we are disobedient to keeping God's statutes, man. Who's teaching us to not keep God's statutes? Who's teaching us that we don't have to keep God's laws? The Christian church, the Roman Catholic Church. You know, even in Islam, they don't hold true to the laws. You can sell the most dope you want to sell being a Muslim. I mean, you're smoking dope and you're wearing female garb, you're wearing dresses. It's ridiculous, man. There's so much confusion out there. But if you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you don't got to be confused no more. All you got to do is humble yourself. Come sit at the feet of the priests and prophets, man, in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA. That's all you got to do. It's real simple. All right. We're going to make it real simple for you. All right. Hosea said, my people are destroyed. We get destroyed because we don't know better. We don't know that eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster is going to destroy us. We don't understand that is the root cause of our heart disease. That's the root cause of us getting, diabetes. That's the root cause of us having hypertension or high blood pressure, and that's having to be strung out on all these meds, us being strung out on drugs. We're thinking that we can live like the other nations because the Christian church says that we're all the same. The Christian church misteaches John 3:16. Christ didn't die for the other nations. He died for you, Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child. He died so that you could be saved because you're going to need that salvation. Let the oppressor, believe in his money and worship his mammon and worship all the other gods that he has intertwined within his society, man. From the days of the week to the months of the year, it's the worship or the acknowledgement or the honor of other gods or other deities. But there is no life in those things. The oppressor gives life to these things. And we give life to these things when we foolishly, without knowledge, devoid of knowledge and understanding, celebrate them. All right? It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, right? We don't know that we're the Israelites of the Bible. We don't know that. We don't know that we were, cursed because of our disobedience. And that's a sad thing. We look at the so-called little hat as being, God's chosen when they're not. Look at your life. Look at your life and look at what they do. Look at what they have. The Bible says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who runs the diamond district? Who runs the banking industry? Who runs Hollywood? Who runs who are all the owners of just about every professional athletic team, whether it be the NFL, the NBA, the MLB? Who runs the porn industry? It's a strong pause for a reason. Right. We should sit in reflection of these things. We should sit and ponder who is controlling all this stuff. Why do we have drill music in 2024 that promotes what? Lasciviousness, promotes violence against brothers and sisters? Anyhow, that's why we get destroyed, because we don't know that these people are professing to be God's chosen people. They're not the people of the book. They're the synagogue of Satan. You are God's chosen Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child. You are the one that God chose. Says thou hast what? Because thou hast what?
Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
Yeah, you don't want to hear us on the street corners when we're out on the street prophesying into the wind. That's damn near what we're doing. Because you walk by our camp, you spit at us, you tell us to get a job, you call us a hate group. When we're feeding every damn body, we're putting clothes on everybody's damn back. What churches have we bombed? We don't burn crosses in nobody's yard. We haven't lynched anyone. We're the most law-abiding people on planet Earth. Not just because we keep the laws of the land, but because we keep God's laws, man.
Right.
We keep divine law. All right, in the I.S.U.P.K. Under commanding General YAHANNA, we understand the value of having order. In order, that rank and order structure is just for order, man. That's it. Everybody can't be the damn leader, man. You ever heard of the saying, too many chiefs, not enough Indians? That's what you see in this world, man. Right. Everybody want to do their own damn thing, but nobody wants to do what the Lord says to do. All right? It says we reject knowledge, right?
Because thou hast rejected knowledge,
right?
I will also reject thee, that thou be no priest to me.
Right. So the knowledge was what? These law, statutes, commandments. That was the knowledge. And through that knowledge, we gain wisdom. What is wisdom? Understanding. We would understand simple things about like what to eat. There's a menu in the Bible, okay? The dietary laws. We know in the I.S.U.P.K, we don't eat no pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and it's to the point where our children don't even eat gummy bears and gummy worms, man, unless it's made with beef gelatin. Our children, we teach these things, we teach God's laws to our children. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to grow old, they're going to grow up, and they're going to teach it to their children, all right? In the I.S.U.P.K, we are breaking generational curses, man. Those curses that you're bound to when you go into a Christian church, man. When you claim anything other than being an Israelite, all right? We get rejected by the Most High Power because we don't know not to celebrate Christmas. We don't know not to bring a Christmas tree into our home. We don't know not to bake a turkey on Thanksgiving. We don't know that because we're too busy envying our oppressor. We're going to get into that next. All right. Keep reading. I will also reject thee.
I will also reject thee.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have been rejected by the Most High Power because we reject knowledge. We rejected the knowledge of these law, statutes, commandments, man. Keep reading.
That thou be no priest to me.
That thou be no priest to me. Yeah, you look and you see T.D. Jakes. He ain't no priest of the Most High Power. He's a power bottom. T.D. Jakes is serving himself, man.
Right.
And the rest of these Christian pastors will have their day in the sun, man. They not only will they have their day in the sun, they're going to have their day in darkness. Now there's a magnifying glass on T.D. Jakes. Just like there was a magnifying glass that was put on Joel Osteen when those contractors found those thousands of dollars within his church walls, man.
Right.
But we don't have to wait for something like that to happen. You just look at their works. They teach against this Bible. T.D. Jakes was known for teaching what? Women, thou art loosed. When the woman's supposed to be what? In subjection to her husband, man. Supposed to be in order, not doing her own goddamn thing. All right? You look at Joel Osteen, the church should have opened the doors to the people in Houston. We went down there and drove past that church. I couldn't believe how massive that church was. And at a time when the church was needed, when the doors of the church were supposed to be open, he ordered them, he commanded them to remain closed. You just look and see what they do by their works. All right? That's how we know, who's serving the Lord. By the things that they say, man. Keep reading.
Kanawakan. Seeing thou hast forgotten thy law of the Most High, I also forget thy children.
Good night. So because we have forgotten the law of the Most High Power, and we have compassion for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We know what we are up against, man. We're dealing with spiritual wickedness in high places. All right. Everywhere it's almost American culture. The oppressor's culture is so intrusive. You know, it's almost, can you say rapey? Yeah. You know, it's just that intrusive. There's no escaping it, especially around the time of the holidays. It's one of the most wicked times of the year. Everybody, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy New Year's. I was talking to a brother the other day and mentioned the fact that American culture was just so intrusive. And I told him, I said, you know, you can't walk 10 steps without somebody saying, you know, Happy New Year to you. And then within 10 seconds, someone walked out of the library and was like, Happy New Year. And he just looked at me, scratching his head like, who is this Negro? Right. But that's the facts, man. It don't take a rocket scientist to make these types of observations or to connect these dots, to draw these correlations. It is what it is. All right. Drop there. Give me Proverbs 3:31. If you can, Baba Kusha. Book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. You know, we're going into the history. We're going to go into some of the pagan origins of the New Year celebration, man. And how this has nothing to do with you, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child. Nothing at all to do with you. The book of Proverbs, chapter 3,
verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
So in the book of Proverbs, we understand this, man. We were never to envy the oppressor. What does it mean to envy the oppressor? To look at him and to want what he has. We look at him with a jealous spirit, almost like we want to be like them, when we were never supposed to be like them. The Most High Power didn't create us to be anything like them. That's why we look so different. That's why our spirit, our vibe is different. Naturally, we're two separate nations, man. We can get into that breakdown of Jacob and Esau, but we're talking about, you know, us envying the oppressor. How do we envy the oppressor in 2024? So-called 2024. How do we envy the oppressor? What are we doing? Going to downtown, watch the acorn drop in Raleigh? You going to watch the ball drop in Times Square? What's that stupid song they sing? Right. Whatever dumb song you sing on New Year's. You know, we envy the oppressor when we. Shalom, what's going on, Adawan? Most High in Christ. You want Adawan? You two up? Okay. For sure. Good to see you. But we envy the oppressor when we we go out to the forest and cut a tree down, man. That's alive, that's connected to its root system, that's living, that's thriving in its ecosystem. And we cut it down and bring it into our house, which is ritualistic sacrifice, man. You killed something in order to celebrate this day of the oppressor. That's oppressive. That's oppressive on the environment, on the earth, to do such a thing. And we can go into Jeremiah. You know, was it 2 and 10? You know? Jeremiah 1. Is it 1?
10 and 1. Christmas tree?
10 and 2, Salakia, yeah. Yeah, 10 and 1. I like to start at 10 and 1 because it's identifying a recipient to that message. It's talking about the Israelites, man. You black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child. This Bible definitely is the basic instructions before leaving earth. All right. We envy the oppressor when we go out and we try to live like him. We take on his customs, his traditions as our own. We have our own separate customs and traditions that were given to us by God. We reject God's culture for man, for his culture, for his traditions. All right. It said to envy thou not the oppressor. Who's the oppressor? You know who's chiefly oppressing you. We know that term oppression, an oppressor means what? Somebody that's in opposition against you, okay? Somebody that is keeping you down intentionally, someone that's always against you. The reason why you're living in poverty, the reason why we live in the projects, we live in the ghetto, we live in the favelas, we live in El Barrio, you know? Why did the Native Indians get pushed off of their lands onto reservations? Who did that? Who put so-called Negroes and Hispanics on slave ships, man? Who did that? Who was responsible for that? What people had a hand chiefly in committing these crimes, man, globally? Who dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Who? That's who the oppressor is, man. It says, and choose none of his ways. We have to reject each and every way of the oppressor, from standing, repeating the Pledge of Allegiance, to saluting the flag during the national anthem, to eating turkey on Thanksgiving, celebrating Thanksgiving. Us gathering together in the name of Thanksgiving is wicked and evil. Us celebrating Christmas, us buying our children gifts, the gift giving and exchanges on Saturnalia, you know, us celebrating the winter solstice, us celebrating New Year's. And then we're going to go into what? What's next? They got Martin Luther King's birthday coming up, and they got Valentine's Day coming up. And you got Mother's Day and Father's Day and Easter and all this crap. It's just going to start all over again. Right. It's like, you know, the swirling of a toilet every year, man. That's exactly what this is, man. We need to flush that entire culture down the drain, all right? And that's how we choose none of his ways, you know? We don't have to create a substitute for, you know, rejecting the different cultural norms that are taboo. They're going to be taboo in the kingdom of heaven. There will be no Christmas celebration in heaven. There will be no New Year celebration in heaven. All right. Our New Year is different from the New Year of the oppressor. Right. All right. We don't celebrate Mother's Day or Father's Day. That will not be an ordained feast day or high holy day in the kingdom of heaven, man. You can look to the book of what? Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Tell you everything you need to know about the feast days and the high holy days that the Most High power set into play. All right. So read that again for me, Baba Kusha. Yeah.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
That's right, man. We can't envy him. Don't look at him like what he has is, you know, he got it by working hard. He just pulled up his bootstraps and, you know, leaned forward in the foxhole. That's a lie. He had to R&M, all right? He took indecent liberties with other people's women and children, okay? Then he robbed them, stole from them, okay? And then he unalived them, all right? 77 million Native Americans, 99 million so-called Negroes and Hispanics, man, across the Middle Passage during the transatlantic slave trade. Unalived. I'm reading a book right now about the slave ship. I can't wait to bring this out because that's a real history. Someone is going to talk about the conditions of a slave ship. And it was its own separate microcosm, you know, its own separate world, you know, and it was a very disgusting and wicked thing what the oppressor did by putting us on those slave ships. But the only reason why we went on the slave ships is because we were disobedient to our God, because we turned our back on the Most High power, man. All right. Let's go into the book of Exodus. We'll go to Exodus 12 and 1. The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 1.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying.
So don't forget, this is the problem with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We forget what we've been put through, you know, in our bondage. You know, us in Egypt, the so-called, you look at the so-called oppressor today who claims to be the Jew, the so-called Jewish man. They were never in Egypt. They can't even stand outside in the sun without turning into a damn lobster, man. Getting skin cancer. There's no way they built the pyramids. There's no way, you know, they served in hard bondage and toiled under Pharaoh in Egypt. But when you look at blacks and Hispanics, oh, that's the people that I know, just based off of the fact they have melanin. They could do that. They could serve hard bondage under Pharaoh, under that Egyptian sun, man. He's so close to the equator. You know, we have the phenotypical characteristics of the anatomy, the physical anatomy, to be able to sustain and to survive and thrive in those environments, in that environment. The so-called Jewish man wasn't a good slave in that bondage, but prepare yourself for chains. Prepare yourself to be in bondage, man. All right. So we're talking about the actual new year, according to God, and not what when we celebrate December 31st or January the 1st. You know, that is not the actual new year, according to what the Bible says. All right. So keep reading.
Verse 2. This month shall be unto you the beginning of months.
This month shall be the beginning of months. Keep reading.
It shall be the first month of the year to you.
The first month of the year to you, not to everybody else, not to the other nations, but to you specifically, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child. I'm going to sound like a broken record tonight. This is about you. This Bible is solely about you. All right. And we're God's chosen people. And it's time for us to understand that. All right. You give me the book of get the Zondervan ready. Yeah, get the Zondervan ready. And I think it's on page 13. Yeah. So keep reading that scripture.
Verse 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. Verse 4. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls.
Right. All right, drop that. Go to Deuteronomy 16:1. Because that's going into the Passover, which is something that the church don't keep. You're not keeping Passover in the Christian church. You know why? Because it's divisive, because it identifies one individual group of people, and it's not for everyone. Not everyone was commanded to do these things. He said specifically to you, all right? 16:1, Deuteronomy 16:1.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib.
The month of who?
Abib.
Abib. How do you spell that?
A-B-I-B.
Go into the Zondervan and find Abib. I think it's on page 13 on the right, top right.
Abib. The pre-exilic name for the first month of the year. After the exile, the name was changed to Nisan. It fell about the time of our March and early April.
Good night. So Abib was what?
March and early April.
This is around the time we celebrate the Passover. Passover this year is what? April 20th. Right. It's in the springtime, man. That's the beginning of the new year. That is the new year. That's when everything is new. The flowers are coming back into bloom. The leaves are green and lush. It's when you're getting ready to start planting so that you can reap a harvest in the fall. Everything is new then. Instead of you celebrating New Year's in the dead of winter, you go outside. Ain't no leaves on the trees. You go outside and everything is dead. Nothing is naturally growing out of the earth. You got certain plants that grow in the winter, okay? But when it comes down to harvesting crops, you're not doing that in the wintertime, man. Right now is not a time to be out in the field doing anything, all right? That's a custom of our oppressor. Keep reading 16:1.
Deuteronomy 16:1. Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Most High thy power.
Unto the Most High thy power, unto the Lord thy God.
For in the month of Abib, the Most High thy power brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
That's something to celebrate there. Now that's something to celebrate.
Right.
You know, the customs of the heathen are vain. There's no reason for you to celebrate New Year's if you Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. That don't got nothing to do with you. Leave that made up culture, those made up traditions, those myths, that folklore, leave that to the heathens who God did not select. Yeah, Most High in Christ. Leave that to them. You know, their customs are vain. There is no meaning to them. And it's definitely meaning, well, it does mean something when you celebrate it. You get cursed for celebrating it. Right. You know? So it's not like nothing will happen to you. Oh, this is an innocent thing. No, it's a very wicked and satanic thing what you're doing. You're destroying your own soul when you celebrate these customs and traditions. You're removing your spirit from the Most High when you celebrate these holidays, man. Mm-hmm. We have our own feast days and high holy days we're supposed to keep. When I talk to you about the Sabbath, we look strange to you. Right. Go ahead, brother.
It's funny because, you know, just talking to people like, man, what are you doing for New Year's? We're having a party, da-da-da. Like, why are you doing that? Well, we're going to church revival. You know, yesterday you drive down the street, churches were packed.
Right.
I mean, parking lot looked like they was giving away free iPads. It was insane. Crazy. And I'm like, what the hell's going on in there? And I guess it's a tradition for them to go to church because if Jesus come,
right,
you're gonna be caught in church, right? Whole pedophiles up in there. But anyway, you ask a job turkey, like, why what you got going on for New Year? We having a party, we celebrating what?
Right.
Well, I'm just happy that God brought me to another year. But God, did he require you to celebrate like that? Well, show me where it say to throw a party and you know, and kiss under the damn the ball dropping, and where did God say to do that?
Right.
Like you're choosing to celebrate this way? Because usually in church you say God said worship him a song, right?
Right.
You said you read that somewhere. You say God said praise him with food. Okay, but where the hell does it say for you to throw a damn party with half naked girls wearing silver and gold? Like, you got to make sense. People do these things, like you say, they envy the oppressor. It's all pagan. It has nothing to do with the Bible.
Right. No, you're right. You get up, brother hand. You're right about that. It's pagan, meaning godless. The Most High power is not in those celebrations. You know, he said, remove from me, you know, what is it? Remove from me thy vows and then all of that, man.
Right.
You know, I'm paraphrasing right now, but it's just a wicked and disgusting thing. The Most High power is not in those celebrations, man. Matter of fact, you can give me that scripture too, Kowal. And while we're doing that, let's go to Exodus 13 and 3. The book of Exodus, chapter 13, verse 3.
13 and 3.
Right. And hold on to that other scripture when you get to it.
Okay. Hold on to it. Deuteronomy?
Exodus 13 and 3.
Exodus 13. Slakia.
You too wild.
The book of Exodus, chapter 13 and verse 3. And Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which ye came out from Egypt.
So at one point in time, you know who Moses was. He was the leader of Israel. The Most High power had appointed him to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, man, under the harsh bondage of Pharaoh. Who is leading the Israelites out of the harsh bondage of America under Joe Biden today? Who do you intentionally disregard and reject? Who? It's Commander General YAHANNA, man. Right. You know, you talk about Commander General YAHANNA to your mama. She don't want to hear that. She's so used to, you know, smooth, shave face coons. Right. Somebody that's adorned themselves in purple and they driving the fanciest of automobiles, man. Yeah, talking about some damn Barry Black and, you know, Creflo Dollar and, you know, what's the bastard in Durham? Oh, John Gray. No. I love when Officer Rock say his name. It's like, this is our enemy. No, not John Gray. No. He got the mega church in Durham. Good night. One of our chief enemies, man. Yeah, Lonnie Love. Hey, your mama's in love with Lonnie Love, man. You know, but you shouldn't be. You got to, the Most High Power wants men that are going to stand for Christ, man. They're going to stand for his kingdom. His kingdom's going to be here on this earth. What are you waiting for tomorrow? Why are you waiting to get right tomorrow? Tomorrow's not promised to none of us, man. Right now is the time for you to be getting your soul right. It's for you to be getting your house in order right now, man. Because the Most High said that Christ is going to come as a thief in the night.
Right.
And who's prepared for that outside of the I.S.U.P.K? All right, keep reading that verse.
Come on, Exodus 13, verse 3, the bottom.
In which
ye came out from Egypt,
right,
out of the house of bondage.
Right.
For by strength of the hand of the Most High brought you out from this place. There shall be no leavened bread eaten.
So we got to remember, man. We have to remember that. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Lord have mercy. We got to remember that, you know, we didn't come out of Egypt by our own strength. We came out of Egypt by the hand of the Most High Power, man. So, you know, what makes you think there will be any other way by which we'll be liberated from bondage here in America? You know, you got the NFAC, they telling you to go out here and buy all these guns, and, you know, there is absolutely no order there. And it's going to fail because guess what? The Most High Power is not with the NFAC, man. The Most High Power is with the I.S.U.P.K. Yes. All right. And we're telling you this is a spiritual thing. We understand that life is war. All right. So we've prepared ourselves, our mind, body, and our soul for warfare, man. All right. We're not up here telling you to go invest in all these guns and, you know, putting our faith in these weapons of warfare, man. You know, because the way that we're going to win the battle is not through carnality. All right. It's through us being obedient. It's through the Most High Power, you know, fighting our battles with a mighty hand, as it just says in this verse. All right. You think about those plagues that fell on the Egyptians. I don't read about those plagues affecting the Israelites that were living in the land of what? Goshen, right? All right. But if you attach to Egypt, to the Egyptians, you know, you think you want to be the only Negro in first class. You want to be the only Negro living in these upscale neighborhoods, man. You don't want to live around, you know, Negroes. You don't want to live around other Hispanics or Native Indians. You think that you've arrived whenever you can go live in some of these, you know, I guess you would call them nicer developments. What are some of the nicer developments in Fayetteville? Van Story Hills or Kings Grant or Ray Condo or Gates 4. You know, you thinking about going to live in these places, and you're going to be hated in those places. All right. Great with Greystone Farms, you know. You're not benefiting anybody but yourself. And you're hated while you're there. Your neighbors hate you. Your neighbors they can't stand the sight of you pulling up to your property in your Cadillac Escalade. They hate you. And you know you get hated because as soon as you pull out of the neighborhood, what? You get pulled over by the law. You get harassed by law enforcement. All right? You be a fool to take that Cadillac to the hood. Now you stunting on your brothers and your sisters, man. That's unbrotherly, okay? Nothing wrong with having nice things. But we got to recognize the value in social capital, the value in investing in each other as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right, and not so much so in the oppressor. Invested in his monetary systems. All right, you trying to gentrify the neighborhood, and all you're doing is pushing out grandma and them. They're on a fixed income. They can't pay the taxes on this $300,000 house you done built in their neighborhood, and the houses were $60,000, man. You done push Big Mama and them out. You pushed them out because they can't afford to pay the property taxes now. All right. Anyhow, we understand that New Year's for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians is in the month of Abib. That's the first month. That is the month that we should be reflective of. That's the month that we should hold in high esteem. That's the month we should honor. And we do every year, annually. Last year, we had a glorious Passover in Durham. This year we're going to have another glorious Passover in Durham.
Right.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it, man. That's the best time of the year for me. I love the Passover, a week-long, celebration of events. What are some of the events we have at the Passover? We got what? Kicking it off with the lamb slaughter, which is a very ancient thing. Your pastor ain't slaughtering no lambs for the Passover. You get to see how we humanely, dispatch these lambs, that are prepared for the Passover feast, man. All right. And then we got the Stagville plantation. Your church group taking you to a plantation? Hell no. They don't want you to think about slavery. They don't want you to think about, what happened to your ancestors. They want you to be far removed from the transatlantic slave trade, the horrors of the Middle Passage, what actually happened in them slave quarters on those plantations. I've been in North Carolina most of my life. I'm 40 years old going to a plantation, man. For the first time, actually walking through a slave quarter. I'm still processing that experience. A year later, man, walking around the grounds of the plantation. It's a very eerie thing to just know and to be reflective, to think about all the horrors that your people endured on those properties, man. At the hand of the oppressor. Your pastor's not taking you to no plantation. But guess who is? Commander General YAHANNA.
That's right.
He's putting the truth in your face. There's no way, ain't no wiggle room. You have to deal with it. This is the harsh reality. Those are the circumstances that, we have to live with. That's what happened to us. And if we're not careful, it can happen again. It could definitely happen again. All right. Where we at? We in Deuteronomy or Exodus?
Yeah, Deuteronomy.
All right, let's drop that. And let's go to go to Exodus 20 and 4. Book of Exodus, just go over to chapter 20 and go to verse 4. Go to verse 3. Salakia.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 3.
No, start at 1, because I think this is a recurring theme. We have gotten to the point where we don't even recognize our history. And this should let you know what DeSantis is doing in Florida, doing away with critical race theory. They don't want you talking about slavery. So much so they don't even want you talking about, is this even brought up in the churches anymore? Go ahead, brother.
I.S.U.P.K says the Christian church wants you to forget the days of old, but the Bible and the I.S.U.P.K teach you to remember the days of old.
Damn right. Give him a hand. He's right. Damn right. My brother's in the class tonight. Shout out to Officer Awabad and young man Reggie, Sister Bayana, the usual suspects. I know none of y'all celebrated New Year's last night. All right, go to the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter. Let's talk about that real quick.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 1. And the Most High spake all these words, saying,
and the Most High Power's name is Yahweh. You're not going to learn this in church. That YHWH, or the Tetragrammaton, that's the name of the Most High Power. You're not learning the language. You're not learning the Holy Tongue or the Lashawan Kodash. But my brother Quadam, Officer 500 Quadam, Bon Yahweh teaches that class religiously. Him and Officer Ayathon, they in here every Friday, like clockwork, teaching, the Lashawan Kodash. Ayathon bring his whole family in here. The babies are speaking the language, speaking the Holy Tongue. All right? And the Most High Power said what?
The Most High spake all these words, saying, I am the Most High thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Thy power. That's another possessive pronoun. Talking to you, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child.
Out. Oh, slot.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
So not only is the Most High Power professing to be our power, All right. When you think about that word power, we don't have any power when you look at, the way we live our lives. Where's our military, man? If you want to call that power, the so-called oppressor, uses his military might. He was blessed with the sword. All right. But where's our power as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? What do we do with our power? The most high power, Yahweh, is our power. All right. And he's the one that brought us out of Egypt. Moses couldn't have done it alone. If Moses was disobedient, he would have never been able to lead us out of Egypt. Right. He would have never. Out of the house of bondage. We in bondage right now, 2024. Right. All your New Year's resolutions are meaningless. They ain't gonna mean a damn thing because you're not gonna hold true to them. And besides that, the Lord ain't in a New Year's resolution. All right. All that superstitious crap, man, that we've learned under the oppressor. We got to realize that we live in real time, man. We don't live in fantasy land. Come out of the metaverse, all right? Right. It says, out of the house of bondage, and thou shalt what?
And, Slakia, thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before the Most High Power, man. So what does that mean? It's okay if we put God first and then, we could worship other gods? No. Yeah, the Most High Power says you should have no other gods. You can't put nothing before him. Some of us worship our women. Some of us worship our children. It's the reason why we get lost in the sauce, doing wicked and evil. The blind leading the blind, essentially. All right? We're supposed to have no other gods. And what are those other gods that we give life to, that we give power to, that we subject ourselves unto? Well, when you celebrate any of the holidays, any of the oppressor's holidays, there is a god or a godless idol at the root of every one of the oppressor's holidays, every last one of them, including Thanksgiving, because I thought Thanksgiving was the one. But even Thanksgiving acknowledges another deity, another God. Okay? The God that we're talking about tonight is the God of Janus. All right? And I got some things pulled up on Janus. If you look and see the tabs, I actually went to the library and got 1, 2, 3 separate pieces of literature. I'll show them to you real quick. Here we go. Boom. There's one of them right there. All right. The gods and goddesses of Greece and Rome. All right. On page 202, it's going to talk about the goddess or the god Janus. Got another piece of literature from the library. Now, boom. There's another one right there. What's the name of that one? The mythology book, Big Ideas Simply Explained. All right, the last one, boom. Talking about Janus. This is Mythology by Edith Hamilton. All right, all 3 of these agree that Janus was a deity, okay, an idol that was worshipped by the Greeks, by the Romans. All right. Who are these people? What have these people done to the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians throughout history over the course of time? Have they been friends or have they been foes to the Israelites? Have they loved Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, or have they proven their vitriolic hatred for them through their actions? These people would be deemed our oppressors, man. That the Bible, warned us about. And their customs and traditions, they came with different holidays, different feast days, different days that they held in high esteem, that they honor, based off of what? Things that they made up. Right. All this is wicked and evil, man. These is all figments of someone's imagination to come up with the idea of a 2-headed deity named Janus. All right. I got images. If you want to pull up, what tab you got up there? Yeah, we're going to go into this real quick. Yeah. Yeah, man. I watched the brother's class. He was going into the measure of time. Like everything about us is different, man. Everything from the way we measure a full day. You know, we start our day at sunset. That's when the new day begins, and that's only because the Most High Power. That's how He created time, or a day is from even to even, man. From sunset to sunset encompasses one entire day. But the oppressor, he worships the sun. He worships the rising of the sun. So much so that he begins his day when the sun rises. All right. Which is really, really interesting when you start thinking about it. And I can see how they've fallen into sun worship. When God said that one full day is what? From sunset to sunset in the book of Genesis. Genesis 1 and 5 talks about that. Right. And while you're pulling that up, let's go there. Let's go to Genesis 1 and 5. Yeah, Most High in Christ. Yeah, Genesis 1 and 5 real quick. Just talk about the day.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 5. And the Most High called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
That's right. The evening and the morning were the first day. All right. And so the things that we do have real meaning according to what God said. This is the reason why we reject the oppressor's culture, because he goes against everything that God said to do. Right. He does the complete inverse of what God has denoted or ordained as being true, as being real, as being the way for us. But we choose to put, all of our energy into serving this beast, man, and to serving the oppressor. It hasn't done anything for us. We're still on the bottom. We've given them everything. We fought in every one of their wars. I mean, come on. We go out and we vote in droves for leadership. What the hell did Obama do for blacks and Hispanics, man? What did he do for the Native Indians? He didn't do a goddamn thing. Right. We fill up the churches, man. We put T.D. Jakes in multi-million-dollar homes, him and his wicked and evil children. Creflo Dollar flying around on Lear jets. And we got to remove our spirit from everything, that the oppressor has set up for us. He set that Christian church up for us to be misled, for us to be disillusioned. That church ain't there. It's churches on every damn corner, just like there's liquor stores on every corner in the hood, pawn shops on every damn corner in the hood. And what outnumbers them? Churches. Next time, when you on your way home from class tonight, count how many churches are between you, between your school, between the I.S.U.P.K classroom and your home. You'll get tired of counting. All right. But what you see here, this is to my left is a bust of this deity named Janus. All right. And you got the definition of Janus in there? Yes. Matter of fact, you can read it in here. I want you to read it out of here because I think this is really, really interesting. All right, read the bottom of 50. All right. Just tell me the name of the book.
Gotcha. All right, the name of this book is called Mythology by Edith Hamilton.
Right.
On page 50 at the bottom. Janus, too, was originally one in the Numenia, the god of good beginnings, which are sure to result in good endings. He became personified to a certain degree. His chief temple in Rome ran east and west, where the days begin and where the day begins and ends. and had 2 doors, between which stood the statue with 2 faces, one young and one old. These doors were closed only when Rome was at peace. In the first 700 years of the city's life, they were closed 3 times. In the reign of the good king Numa, after the First Punic War, when Carthage was defeated in 241 BC, and in the reign of Augustus, when Milton says, no war or battle sound was heard the world around.
Good night. All right, so drop that. I found more interesting literature on Janus. Tell them where you are. It should be on that page right there.
This is a book, the mythology book, Big Ideas Simply Explained. All right. And you can find this book. Mythology book, Big Ideas Simply Explained. This is on page 121, the bottom. Janus and the nymph. Karna then caught the attention of the 2-faced god of doorways, Janus, who desired her as the others had. When he spoke softly to her, she, as usual, suggested retiring to a cave. But when she disappeared into the thicket, Janus saw where she was hiding, for he had eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah, this is going to get into him raping. So this is crazy, Salakia. Him taking indecent liberties with this nymph. So sexual indecent liberties. And this is what you worship. This is what you celebrated. All right. When it came down to New Year's. All right. This whole celebration is debased by debauchery, man. It's no meaning to it at all. It absolutely means nothing. But then when you learn about the meanings, there's a deeper meaning, and it's always something evil and disgusting, man. Keep reading that.
Oh, Slocky.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man,
That was it on that?
Page 121. Yeah, that was it. I mean, I can go to the next page. I think it might be something.
No. We got some. I got another article pulled up on Janus.
Oh, let's see. It was Janus and the nymph. Yeah, that was it.
All right, so here we go. This is the last piece of literature. Just talking about Janus being what? The god of doorways.
The Gods and Goddesses of Greece and Rome by Philip Matziak.
Right.
All right. This is Janus. The statue of the 2-faced Janus depicted by King Numa is worshipped as a symbol of war and peace. The fingers of the statue are so arranged as to indicate the days of the year and to show Janus is a god of time.
The god of who?
The god of time.
Yeah, this is why you celebrated Janus at the so-called beginning of the oppressor's new year.
It says, today we know Janus from January. He is the god of the beginnings, who has given his name to the opening month of the year.
Right. So this is the reason why January is named January. It's because of this so-called deity named Janus. All right, keep reading.
Yet, to the Romans, Janus was so much more. Firstly, Janus was not only the god of beginnings, but also the god of endings. When an infant became a child, Janus was there. And again, at childhood's end, when a girl became a woman and a boy became a man. Any transition in human or natural conditions required Janus, the divine agency without whom nothing could change from one state to another.
Good night.
For the Romans, Janus was the oldest of gods. For Janus, the god of beginnings, was born as soon as the universe came into existence. In fact, his dual nature, Janus, is divine bookends of eternity. For once the universe finally runs down and everything has gone, it is Janus, the god of endings, who, metaphorically speaking, will sweep up the floor and turn off the lights.
That's a damn lie, because the God of the Bible, Yahweh, he's the Alpha and the Omega. He's the beginning and the ending, okay? The beginning and the end, not Janus. Janus is made up. They had to bring Janus into all these different, we would call them milestones, the beginning or the ending of a period in your life, almost like with, a Sweet 16 celebration or quinceanera, you know, or when a child is born, they said Janus had to be present. They put Janus, you know, they probably had a statue of Janus in the corner of some, you know, wedding hall when the couple got married, man, to represent new beginnings, which is so wicked and vile. That's a very evil thing, man. You got to put this, you got to erect this statue up, you know, you got to bring your gods wherever you are. Like literally, you know, you got to cut the Christmas tree down or all this symbology that means nothing. It's not like us, you know. The Most High Power, you know, he's everywhere. He's everywhere at one given time.
Right.
You know, we talk about the eyes of the Lord being in every place, beholding the good and the evil. You know, the Spirit of the Lord, man, it's a very interesting thing. You don't have to go and create an idol to Yahweh and stand him up in the corner of the classroom like you do with Janus. Keep reading.
Khan. For the Romans, Janus was like him. Oh, yeah, here we go. Janus is so old a god that it is uncertain whether he gets his name for the ancient word for portal, in other words, a doorway or gateway, or whether the words come from the god. His name survives today with modern custodian of such portals, the janitor.
So those of you that went to the watch night service, you were celebrating the opening or the closing of a portal. Some spiritual portal, man, that pagans believe in. So if you're a Christian, you're a pagan. You believe in paganism. If you're a Christian, you're polytheistic. You believe in the worship of other gods. You're not doing what Christ did. Christ didn't keep a watch night service. Show me the example of Christ celebrating New Year's in the Bible. Since you're so Christ-like Christian, show me the example. Show me the example of Christ putting a Christmas tree up in his house or carving a damn turkey for Thanksgiving. Show me those examples of him leading suffering little children to have an Easter egg hunt. Show me that example in the Bible, man. You won't find it in there. All right? This is how I know the church is against God. Your Christian pastor is against God. Your mama that's dragging your kids down to that church is against God. All right? Keep reading.
The role of portals is intimately connected with Janus because one enters or leaves a building, especially one's home. This marks a transition to a different set of circumstances.
Good night. Yeah, because when you're in your house, it's one thing is happening, but when you go outside, a whole nother set of rules is happening. And It's crazy for you to acknowledge this deity or this idol, to give them that credit. The Most High Power has a hand in how your day is going to begin or end. Even if you wake up, the Most High Power has a hand in that, not Janus. Janus don't got a damn thing to do with it. All right, keep reading.
To a Roman, leaving through the city gates meant transitioning from the relative safety of the city to the perils of the outside world. Janus was a portal in other way also. No Roman invoked his gods without first invoking Janus.
So Janus was the first god evoked or invoked whenever they were going to their spiritual worship or what have you.
For he was the intermediary between human and divine.
Oh man, so Janus is like Christ. Janus was Christ-like in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as far as the characteristics of him being the intermediary between man and the Most High, which is so wicked and evil, man. But this is what you celebrated if you went downtown Raleigh and watched the damn acorn drop, or in Festival Park to see the fireworks. You celebrated this very ancient pagan deity named Janus. All right, keep reading.
Therefore, Roman religious ceremonies invariably begin with a prayer to Janus, the creator and parent of our years.
All those prayers that went up at Simon Temple and Lewis Chapel and Shiloh Baptist Church,
Oh, they
all
were
those
packed.
prayers.
They were packed too. I drove by Louis
It
Chapel.
was packed.
It was in park across the street down there.
Standing room only.
Yeah.
All those prayers were invoked to who? To Janice.
To Janice.
To Janice. You weren't praying to Jesus. You wasn't praying to the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You were praying to a Roman God. That's what you were praying to. Keep reading.
Kanawakan. Slaki began with a prayer to Janus, the creator and parent of our years. As the poet Marshall calls him, the ceremonies ended incidentally with a prayer to Vesta, the divine mother guardian of the Roman state.
Good night.
Janus also reveals a difference between the cultures of Rome and Greece when it came to religion. The Greek gods were essentially forces, be they the power of love, order, or growth. These forces had a rational human-facing aspect, which not only could interact with humans, but which also shared the human experience with their loves, feuds, and personal tragedy.
Good night.
For the Romans, their gods were concepts, usually the perfect embodiment of a thing or an idea. Unlike the Greeks, the early Romans felt little need to humanize their gods. While they later happily adopted the Greek myths wholesale, they felt little need to add a human backstory to their own divinities. Furthermore, while Rome's belief system certainly colored how Greeks approached their gods, especially in the Roman imperial period, the Greeks saw neither a way to incorporate gods such as Janus into their own theology. Beginnings and endings are concepts, but certainly not forces.
All right, hold that. That's really interesting. And for those of you that would like to read more into Janus, my brother just gave you the title of the book.
The Gods and Goddesses of Greece and Rome by Thames and Hudson.
It's very, very interesting. They got plenty of them in there, and you'll be able to find the deities that are at the root of all of your celebrations, the celebrations of the holidays that America promotes. At the root of all of them are the gods and goddesses that are outlined in this book over here. And it's really, really interesting. All right. But sidebar, let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25. And we're just going to talk about, the changing of time. And I think it's really, really interesting that we put a lot of emphasis on time and celebrating the end of time or the beginning of times. We do a lot of that. People put a lot of energy into celebrating their birthday, which is a specific time period when you were born, when you came through the matrix, okay? And it's like you celebrating time to that extent is a very vain thing. We celebrate time in reflection of what transpired via history as far as our people are concerned. That's why we celebrate the Passover. See, we celebrate God in our feast days, in our holy days, and you celebrate yourself, all right? The oppressor will have you celebrate yourself, which is a very vain thing to do. Self-worship, the pursuit of happiness. What is happiness? Happiness don't have nothing to do with nobody else but you. That's in his constitution. So the oppressor's culture is all about self-worship, self-honor. What do they say? What was the dude's name? Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Aleister Crowley, who was a self-proclaimed Satanist. All right? If you want to serve the Lord, you better come in here in the I.S.U.P.K. Under Commanding General YAHANNA, man, and sit at the feet of these priests and prophets. Because we giving you the raw, uncut, unadulterated truth of the Bible, all right? We going to other sources and letting you know about the gods that you worship in the Christian church. Your pastor ain't going to talk about Janus. He's just going to tell you to come to the watch night service and bring cash. You know what I'm saying? Bring cash and a side of ham. Yeah, sow your holy seed. Good night. So wicked and evil, man. All right. Daniel 7 and 25.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
Who are the saints of the Most High? Give me a Zondervan definition of saint. You know, when you think about who is doing this, who is speaking great words against the Most High power? Who? Who has the authority right now on the earth to speak great words against the Most High? When you think about your pastor, when you think about whatever denomination you're in, you know, even the Protestants succumb under the rulership of the Roman Catholic Church. And who heads the Roman Catholic Church? Who's the head of the Roman Catholic Church? The Pope, man, the papacy. All right.
Saint, a member of God's covenant people, Israel.
Covenant people, the people he had a contract with. Who did he have a contract with? It wasn't Edom. It wasn't Ishmael. It wasn't Elam. It wasn't Ham. Who was it? It was Israel, man. The Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. That's who the Most High had a covenant with. Keep reading.
Khan. The saints are the church, people called out of the world to be God's own people. Throughout the Bible, the saints are urged to live lives befitting their positions.
Right. So when it comes down to that word church, it just means school. You know, this is what we are. We don't profess to call ourselves a church. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, all right? And we teach the truth of the Bible, the truth of God, the truth about who blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are. We teach the laws. We teach man to keep God's law, statutes, and commandments. We teach you to hold true to your office. You have to be obedient to keeping these laws. If you're going to hold an office in this school, if you're going to be a saint, you can't be out here, what? Celebrating New Year's, celebrating Christmas, celebrating your birthday, eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. All those things are against the Most High. And your deeds are the things that you do. It's how you prove your love, man. Love is an action. It's not just a word. It's just not a feeling. It's what you do. And if you celebrated New Year's, you prove that you hated God. You prove that you don't give a damn about the Most High power and what he commands of us. Is that it on that? On the saints?
That was the definition.
All right, go back to Daniel 7:25.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25.
We just told you who the saints were. We're the saints of the Most High. They only dwell within the ranks of the I.S.U.P.K. Nobody else is giving you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Nobody else is standing for Christ in this modern era. Nobody else is telling you not to celebrate these things, not to envy the oppressor. You hear Proverbs 3:31 here. You didn't hear that at Lewis Chapel. You didn't hear that at Mount Pisgah. You didn't hear that at what? Simon Temple. Keep reading.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. He shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
Yes, he want to change times and laws. He want to change the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday. He wants to what? The law against what? Men marrying men. Ugh, they got the urge. But two men can get married. The Pope just basically validated that recently. Same-sex marriages. Keep reading.
And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
That's right, man. We have been given into the hand of this devil, but all is not lost, man. You know, we're given into the hand of this devil because of our disobedience. All right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians got to wake up, man. We have to wake up and recognize, first of all, who we are and what is expected of us. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. If you're a so-called Negro, don't believe that you are African American. Those are just two oppressors they named you after. Amerigo Vespucci and Leo Scipio Africanus, man. You are neither. You're an Israelite, man. Anyhow, It's really interesting getting into who is at the root of all of our suffering. All right. Give me Romans 1 and 25, the book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 25.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 25. Who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie and worshiped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen.
Yeah, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie? Who changed the truth about when the new year was, which we showed you in the month of Abib, to January 1st? Who did that? Who did that, and why are we celebrating that? When your Bible, I just showed you where to go, showed you where to go and how to get there. We just showed you where you can find the origin of the actual new year biblically. But our people disregard the truth. It's right here in the Bible. I mean, reading out of a King James Version Bible, man. In the book of Genesis, in the book of Exodus, in the book of Leviticus, telling you where to go. In the book of Deuteronomy, telling you to celebrate the month of Abib. But we settle for December 31st. We settle for January the 1st.
Right.
Yes. They both, yeah, I put batteries in both of them. Is it already? Here. No, it's all right.
I was just going to say that you talk about the thing we celebrated for December the 1st. This was one of the most dreadful times for us as a nation of people. Right. Because at this time, like, they would take us from plantation to plantation.
Oh, yeah.
And like whatever debt that we had, or whatever debt that the plantation owners had, they
right,
would use their slaves to pay off their debt. Right. And whoever they drop them off, they would use them for whatever that they wanted to use them for.
Right.
They would separate the families during this time of day. So if the slave, the plantation owners, debt wasn't paid, guess what? They would separate fathers from wives and wives from children, and they would use these as form of payment. You know what I'm saying? For their debt. So we didn't look forward to this time of year. Now all of a sudden, when you throw a present in front of it, or you throw a day off, or some type of promiscuity in front of it, we're confused by it. We look forward to it. You understand? But in the past, we hated this time of year because we were used as debt to be traded to pay off the slave owner or the plantation owner's debt for the next guy.
Right.
And guess what? Our children was used as presents. You know what I'm saying? So we hated this time of year. You know what I'm saying? And when so much so, like you said, we're so removed from our culture, we accept any damn thing. Well, if somebody told us, that's why you got so many idiots walking around with unks around their necks,
right,
praying to the sun and the moon and the stars. You know what I'm saying? Talking about they coming up with new ways of living life, about eating vegetarian diets, you know what I'm saying, paleo diets.
Right.
All these things are in these scriptures,
right?
Because they don't understand it. Because we're led as a nation of people by dumb idiots, dumb dogs, and they don't want to read the scripture. They go off of what they feel and what the congregation say that they want. That's what they're gonna do. Hey, whatever they can do to get the congregation to respond, that's what they're gonna do. But our people in the past, we have always hated this time of year,
right,
because we know what it meant. Just like the brothers as they in the I.S.U.P.K, we know what this time of year means. That's why we separate from it.
That's right.
That's why we are wholly against it. You understand?
That's right.
What's sign Christ, Bond?
No, damn right. You know, I don't want to hand. He's right about that. We know it's poison, you know, and we put a big label on it, and it's a skull and crossbones. This is poisonous to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We believe it too. You know, this truth, as far as us keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, you know, this is what we teach our children. You know, our wives submit to this, you know, so much so that we're the only example. We're the last hope for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This is why it's really, really important, if you're a priest and prophet in this school, hold true to your office. Recognize the value of the power of your influence. You can't be seen doing certain things. Avoid the appearance of evil.
Most High Christ.
Salaki
I'm glad
Adawan.
you said that too. And with that being said, that's why it's so righteous that we walk in a certain light. You
That's
understand?
right. That's
because the entire world is waiting for us to fail. That family that you think loves you is waiting for you to fail.
Right.
That's why it's important that we are honest with one another as brothers and sisters.
That's right.
Be careful what you post on the Facebook and the Instagram and all that stuff, because somebody's always watching to prove what you're saying is wrong.
Right.
And if you look like you're doing something wrong, then you're wrong. Then what's the need of me listening to what you're talking about being an Israelite? See, we know there's a much advantage in every way to calling yourself a Jew. You understand?
Chiefly, that's right.
Yeah, chiefly above all things else. But when you putting out the example to the world, like you doing what you want to do,
right?
And you talking about happy birthdays and you liking photos of people celebrating their birthdays. You hitting the thumbs up on people celebrating Christmas. You hitting the thumbs up on people celebrating New Year's.
Right.
Then what message are you sending to them? It may be a nice photo, but that means you gotta like it,
right?
Because you know what it represents, right?
Right.
Keep rocking, Salaki.
No, you're right, Adawan. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said it. It's too often. I'll see a good picture, a pretty picture, or like, a nice picture of somebody in their family. I'll like it, but then some of them will like, go look, read the caption. And if I see anything about a damn happy birthday or New Year's or Merry Christmas, I unlike it. I don't give a damn if you saw the like. I unlike it. It's a wrap. And so many of our people, we fall into that trap. We got to be more mindful, be more cognizant, be more aware of what it is that you're doing. Salakia. Anyhow, where we at?
Right here. Who was in Daniel 1:25?
Okay, drop that. I said go to Romans, right? Romans 1:25. I want you to go to the book of Ecclesiasticus. You got a Zondervan? Yeah. You got a Apocrypha? Mm-hmm. Go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 33 and verse 7.
The book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 33 and verse 7.
Shout out to Officer Ayathon. He like to pull this scripture here.
Why doth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun?
That's right. Why do we honor one day, or why does one day excel above another? Why do you hold your birthday above any other day of the year? Why do you put so much validity on, celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day, or the days that the oppressor has directed you to acknowledge as being holy, to acknowledge as being special, to acknowledge as being held in high esteem? Why do we excel these days? All right. It says when all is what?
When all, why doth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun?
Right.
Verse 8.
All the days are the same, essentially, right? As far as the sun is shining, as long as we have the sun shining, the days are pretty much the same, whether it be raining, sleeting, or snowing, or fair weather. Okay, it's all the same thing, right? Keep reading.
Verse 8. By the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished.
By the who?
Knowledge of the Lord.
By the knowledge of the Most High Power, the days of the year were distinguished. Okay.
And he altered seasons and feasts.
So the Most High made these feasts and these high holy days. They were distinctive because of his understanding, because of his knowledge, not because of man's knowledge, not because of what Pope Benedict or Pope or Julius Caesar or whomever, what they thought. Who gives a damn what they thought? They're mere men. They don't exist anymore. They're done. They're dead. But the Most High Power, this is something different. All right, we're talking about the Creator of all things. I'd much rather follow what the Most High Power denotes as being distinguished than what a mere man, can validate. All right, keep reading.
Verse 9. Some of them hath he made high days,
Right.
and hallowed them, and some of them hath he made ordinary days.
Some of them hath he made what?
Ordinary days.
Ordinary days. So when you think about what a high holy day would be, Sabbath is a high holy day. It's a weekly high holy day. The Passover is the highest of the high holy days. Okay, when you think about the Passover celebration, this celebration acknowledges what the Most High Power did for the people that He chose. All they had to do was be obedient, and those that were obedient walked out of Egypt. Okay, via a pillar of fire by night, man. Cross the Red Sea. Cross the Red Sea, not via cargo slave ship, but on dry land. All right? These are the people, man, that the Most High Power chose. And you got to understand this, man. If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, there's something special about being who you are. Don't look at what the oppressor, how he values you or devalues you. Okay? Don't look at the fact you don't have no damn money. You just merely existing. You mean more to the Most High. You mean more to this earth than Bill Gates, than what's the dude from Amazon? Than Jeff Bezos, than Warren Buffett. You mean more to the Most High Power than these men. All right? Where we at? All right. Yeah, drop that. Drop Ecclesiasticus. All right, let's see. I like this. Isaiah 1 and 3. Let's go to Isaiah 1 and 3. Because I don't want to continue to talk about Janus. I don't want people to be all enamored with Janus and who Janus is or was or what it represents. Just know that Janus is another god. And the Most High Power said, you shall have no other gods before me. All right? You put other gods before the Most High Power when you celebrate the oppressor's customs, when you will celebrate his holiday seasons. All right? So we said Isaiah 1 and 3.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider.
This is interesting. They use two dumb beasts, two dumb behind beasts, man. Beast of burden, the ox.
So like, if I may,
Go ahead, Adawan.
Can we start at verse 2?
Yeah, right.
If you don't mind.
You know we can. You know we can.
Cut on Khan. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Most High have spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me.
Good night.
Verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider.
That's heavy. That's a real. He get me back. I like the fact that we identify who this is talking about, man. Whenever you communicate, you got to always know there's got to be a message. You got to have a sender, and you got to have a recipient of that message, man. This is the Most High. Isaiah, basically, is talking about this vision, It says, hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. All right, the Most High Power has spoken this thing. And the Most High Power said, what? I have what?
Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Most High hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children.
Good night. This is for everybody. Everybody should be, attentive to what is being said right now. You talk about the heavens. Yeah. This is a public service announcement, all right? The Most High Power is just basically saying, I have nourished and brought up children. What does it mean to nourish? Your mother provided you with nourishment when she fed you from, when she nursed you. It damn sure wasn't Janice. Janice ain't do a damn thing. Janice needs must be born. You got to pick Janice up and take Janice to wherever the milestone or whatever the celebration was. All right. Just like that dumb Christmas tree. Okay. You give Janice life, by your labor, not by anything that Janice is doing. The Most High Power, though, he's the one that nourished us. He nourished us in the wilderness. He gave us mammon, and we wanted meat, and he ended up giving us quail. Quail was coming out of our goddamn ears. Okay? We wanted water. He provided us with water. The Most High Power always has an answer for his people. This is not a God that you pray to and your prayers fall on deaf ears, like those prayers that were sent up in the spirit of celebrating Janice last night. Everything that y'all pray for has been rebuked. And it's not New Year's resolutions and all that is crap, man. The Lord ain't gonna honor none of that crap. And you'll know next year around the same time that all your energy and all the effort you put into your New Year's resolution, how much of a goddamn failure you are. Because you don't put your trust, you don't put your faith in the Most High Power. All right. And that's all we want you to do. That's all we're imploring you to do as your brothers. We want our brothers and sisters to do what is right. We want to be that holy, mighty nation that we once were. All right. And we're not doing it celebrating New Year's. That ain't going to get it. That dog is not going to hunt. All right. It says, I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against. The Most High Power looks at us like children. And with a child is supposed to honor and obey strictly. Jerry and Isaiah ain't telling Officer Zion what the hell to do. Tootie and Ramsey ain't going to come in my house and tell me what to do. Manny and Jordan, they honor and obey. They're not going to rebel. You have a child that's rebellious, that child has to be disciplined or ostracized. Salakia. How you going to rebel against the Most High? You know who he is. We don't put no respect on who the Most High is. We don't. It says the ox knows his owner. A dumb behind cow. They've been having a marathon of Yellowstone. I can't help it. I've been watching it. Yellowstone on Paramount, the Paramount Network. And it's really interesting because you get to see the position of the so-called oppressor, and they don't vilify the oppressor. They kind of justify the oppressor, via the land grabs and, his position against the Native Indians, trying to prove that they're savages, and then trying to come to this coalescence of them living together, but the oppressor's got to have it all. He got to have his ranch in Yellowstone. He got to have it. And then you just see his relationship with the land, and they try to make him seem like, what he wants, his desires are benevolent in nature, when it's all just greed. And then you look at the relationship he has with the Native Indians in the show, and they know exactly who he is. They call them devils in the show. If you get the opportunity to watch it. It's really interesting. But you just get to see the pride of the oppressor. And they still feel justified in what they did to the Native Indian and what they did to the buffalo. But now they're conservationists. Now they care about what happens to their buffalo.
And now we can coexist.
Yeah, we can coexist now that I own them. But when you were living off of them, no, we had to eradicate them to the point of extinction, Anyhow. It says the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we don't know. And the big reason why we don't know is because of the Christian pastors. It's because of Louis Farrakhan and the Muslim mosque. It's because of what? The Democratic Party. You got Roland Martin advocating for blacks to go out and vote in droves. Continue to put our trust, our faith in serving the oppressor, man. And it hasn't worked. It's not going to work. In fact, you're working against your best interest when you do these things. You need to invest in, Invest in the Most High. Invest in your soul salvation. You know, no way you're going to do that is by actually coming into the I.S.U.P.K and really changing your life.
That's right.
It's not a New Year's resolution. We're talking about being transformed by the renewing of your mind. Every time you come into one of these classrooms, a brother will present a topic and your mind will literally be renewed. It's being transformed because you're getting information. You're getting wisdom and understanding via God's precepts, man. Your pastor is not doing this. He's going to get up there and talk about what? Your season, your harvest, and you reaping into what? Some sort of investment for a building fund that they've had for 20 years. They got the little thermometer. Thermometer's still been on the bottom. The thermometer ain't going to reach to the top. And y'all pouring out all your money into the church. And the pastor's never going to move that thermometer because who knows what's coming in. You think they're actually telling you what's actually being, brought into the church at those budgetary meetings? Your pastor is a thief. He's a lying, dumb dog. He ain't going to tell you the truth. It's not in him to tell the truth. All right? All right. Let's see where we at. Drop that and give me 2 Corinthians 6 and 17. Let's do that. 2 Corinthians 6 and 17.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 17. Wherefore, come out from among...
Go to 14. I like 14.
2 Corinthians 6, verse 14.
Right.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Right. So now this is talking about what? A lot of people use this as like a marriage scripture. When you go through marriage counseling, they talk about be ye not unequally yoked. If you are Seventh-day Adventist, you shouldn't be marrying a Baptist. Well, you're both wrong. All right. This don't got nothing to do with that. This is talking about believing in the Most High power, believing in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. Believing in keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Believing that the Israelites are so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right. Keep reading.
For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness?
So now we have to determine just the mere associations we have with people at our slaveries. I got to be more cognizant of not being unequally yoked with non-believers. This is the reason why I don't go to the goddamn Christmas party. Now, me facilitating a Christmas party, for my participants, that's another thing. It's like a slavery. I don't have to be a part of that celebration. You don't have to go after hours and participate in the white elephant or the ugly Santa. You don't got to do that, man. You don't got to put on the damn ugly sweater when they're doing the what do you call that? The Spirit Week. Yeah, they got this. They're real. They got the Spirit Week during the holiday season. Wear festive socks one day. Wear a ugly Christmas sweater the next day. And they're doing gift exchanges all through and through. It is wicked, vile, and evil. It's the worship of other gods, man. You can't have fellowship with that because those are unrighteous acts. You got to prove to be righteous, man. All right. Keep reading.
And what communion hath light with darkness?
Good night, man. They're two separate things. The light and the darkness, like the day and the night. They're two separate things. You worshiping idols and me worshiping the Most High power. This is why we look so strange to you. When we say we got a Sabbath service. A Sabbath what? What's a Sabbath service? What is the Sabbath? Are we reading out of the same book? The hell, how do you not know what a Sabbath is? Right. If you're reading the Bible, you stuck in the damn church. Keep reading.
Verse 17. Oh, we want to keep going.
No, 15.
Verse 15. And what concord hath Christ with Baal? With Belial.
What does that word concord mean? Good night. Something about bringing them together, I'm sure.
Concord definition. It says,
yeah, let's get that definition. There you go.
It says agreement or harmony between people or groups.
That's right, man. There is no agreement with Christ and Satan or Belial. There is no agreement. We sitting up here telling you keep not to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and you hell bent on wanting to do the low country boil. We're going to have some offenses. But the offense ain't coming by me because I'm doing what's right. You, on the other hand, are you able to validate why you want to have the low country boil according to the Most High and his laws, statutes, and commandments? No, you can't. Keep reading.
Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel?
Yeah, man. Believers and unbelievers, you know the difference. It's all in what you say. It's all in what you do. I know you don't serve the God of this Bible. If you celebrated New Year's, if you celebrated Christmas, you participated in the gift exchange. I know you don't serve the God of the Bible. You don't serve the God of our ancestors. You don't. The jig is up. Stop all that goddamn fraudulent behavior. All that you 52 faking out here. We know the truth because we are in these scriptures. We have literally changed our lives for the better, man, for the best. And we want the same for you. All right. If I can do it, I know you could do it. Keep reading.
Verse 16. And what agreement hath the temple of the Most High with idols?
Yeah, why is there a Christmas tree next to the pulpit in your church? Why is there garland draped amongst the pews? Why you got poinsettias next to the pulpit? There is no agreement between the Most High power and idols. It's all idolatry. And you don't want to pay attention to it. But the truth is hidden in plain sight. And guess what? The Most High power is going to repay you to your face. That's right. You can disregard it all you want, but you will pay a penalty, man. Keep reading.
For ye are the temple of the living power.
That's right.
As the Most High has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people.
Yeah, right.
Verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate.
Be ye separate, man. Remove yourself, man. Kanye said what? My presence is a present. And that's an apparent thing. You remove your presence from non-believers, man. I'm an example. I try to set an example everywhere I go. I'm a priest and I'm a prophet. I represent this school. You get put in situations and there's a value in brotherhood. There is absolute value in brotherhood. Reaching out to a brother, reaching out to a sister when you're going through something. And the Most High dwells in here because I could be faced with dealing with something, I might be unsure about wanting to do a certain thing. Then I reach out to a brother, and the brother's like, hey, yo, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Not as a priest and prophet. How would that look? But if you're unequally yoked with non-believers, they're not going to invalidate that fallacy. They're going to try to validate it. They're going to have you serving Belial and not standing for Christ. Come out from among them and what?
And be ye separate.
What does that word separate mean? That word separate just means to be holy, man. That's true holiness there, is being separate, not participating in the oppressor's customs and traditions, their holidays. Being separate. Keep reading.
Saith the Most High, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
Good night.
Verse 18. And will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Most High Almighty.
Damn right, man. Give that a hand. That's a heavy thing there. You want the Most High power to be a father to you? You got to turn your back on all that unrighteousness, all that wickedness, all that idolatry, all right? And the best way to do that, the only way to do that is to come in here. We're at 205 West Russell Street, man. We teach class Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. On the Sabbath, we have a Sabbath service. You get here about 10 o'clock, 10:30. We're rocking and rolling. All right. We're going to face the east and we're going to put up the prayers and worship in our power. All right. The Most High, his name is Yahweh. And throughout the week, we're standing for Christ. All right. If you want to stand for Christ, come down here, man. 205 West Russell Street, man. But that's my time with the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. I'm going to bring up the next, I'm going to bring up Priest and Officer of 1,000, Kawal Ban Yahweh to read the security announcements.
All right.
So lock it.
Clap it up.
Yeah, damn right.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We're the I.S.U.P.K start at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. The rule for brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be student only. They are here to shed themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister.
Right.
There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is the commandment, you can find this in Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in Hebrews, pronounced by Asherah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offer for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like to give. Upcoming holy convocations, the Feast of Purim, the 14th and 15th day of the 12th month, Thursday, the 22nd of February, and Friday, the 23rd February 2024. You can find us at Esther chapter 9, 20-31. Also, today is Monday, so check out America on Fire with Commander YAHANNA. Like, share, subscribe, thumb it up. As soon as you come in the damn video, just hit the thumbs up. All right, let's like, share, subscribe. Also, too, the Lord's 55th annual Passover is going to be held here in North Carolina in Durham, April 20th, 2024. So go ahead and start making arrangements. If you've got any questions about rooming or hotels or anything, contact your camp leader. Go to www.I.S.U.P.K.com, pay your Passover fee of $200. Anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf with that amadium. Men of Israel, we're going to render one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Ma'anar Shabbat, amadium, Barak, Yajmatah. So our turn face sisters. Men of Israel, we're going to render one courtesy to the sisters. Men of Israel, Ma'anar Shabbat, amadium, Barak, Yajmatah. Class is dismissed.
How was that trip?